All right, welcome back. As promised, we're going to take this part, or we're going to make the rest of this part, which is cutting in these sort of teeth into here. We'll cut these two holes and these two holes later on in the video, but right now we're going to do the teeth and then get rolling. Okay, so to do this, I'm actually going to cut it in this side panel. And I just noticed actually we never named our base. So I'm going to come over to body 15, double click on it, and do base. Whoops, something went wrong. Double click on it, base, enter. All right, now I'm going to hide the base, and I'm actually going to cut these finger joints into this board first. So I'm going to create a sketch on the outside surface of the plywood here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to grab a rectangle tool, and starting in this top corner, I'm going to click and then just go over to the side. I'm going to type in TH, enter for the thickness of it, because I want it to be 1 plywood thickness deep, tab, and then 20 for the top one, and hit enter. I'm going to go over to the other side and do the same thing. So in this corner, I'm going to click, drag over, and I'm going to do TH, enter, enter. Oops, I did 2 enters instead of just 1. All that means is I've got 2 options now. I never put the dimension on for this side. I can Control Z and redo that rectangle, or easier, I can hit D for dimensioning, and I can just add the dimension later. So I click on the line I want to dimension, click up here at the top somewhere, and then just type in 20. Awesome. One more rectangle. I'm going to do another rectangle over here to the left, and I'm just going to come out here and do the same thing before. TH, enter, tab, 20, enter. Now I want this rectangle to be right. So what we're drawing are the rectangles we're going to cut later. I want it to be right in the middle. Instead of trying to eyeball it into the middle, I'm going to come up here and grab this midpoint tool. This is another great tool for lining things up. So if I click the midpoint tool, I want to click on this short line of my rectangle, and then click back here on this long line back in the back, and it will put them on the middle of each other. So put it right in the middle like that. Great tool. I'm going to go straight to extrusion next. So E for extrusion. I'm going to click on these 3 pieces, tip it so I can see what's going on. Zoom out a little bit. And now I'm just going to drag the arrow in the direction I want to cut. And instead of trying to drag it all the way, I'm just going to come over here to distance and say all the way through. And in one fell swoop, we just cut all 4 panels with 1 extrusion. So now they're all 4 ready, which is pretty cool. If I turn our base back on, it's still gray. Let's actually add an appearance to that real quick. We'll put that bamboo on there. And this looks fantastic. The only problem is if I turn off the plywood pieces, notice how there's no holes cut for those fingers to stick into. We're going to do that next. So I'm going to turn the plywood back on. Again, my 3D prints are just staying off for now. I need to cut holes into the base so that these little fingers can go through. To do that, I'm going to use the Combine tool. The Combine tool looks like this. If you can't find it, it's under Modify, Combine. It asks us for a target body. Well, the target body is the thing that we're going to be cutting, and that's the base here. And I'm going to come down here and make sure it says cut and not join. What join will do is it'll make 2 parts that are separate. It'll like connect them together. So I'm going to do cut instead. And then I'm going to, it's asking me now what my tool bodies are. So my tool bodies are the things I'm using to cut with. So here I'm going to click on all of the panels, and you can see when I zoom in what it's going to do. It's going to actually cut holes. It's going to use the panels to cut holes in the base. So that's a pretty cool feature. Now, don't do this next part with me. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to say OK. And when I do that, it disappears my plywood parts. Like I have no more plywood parts. So to fix this, I can either Control Z, or I'm just going to right click on the Combine and do Edit Feature. What I need to do when I'm cutting is I need to click here that says Keep Tools. I don't want to delete the tools afterwards. And then I'm going to click OK. And now my plywood panels are still there. If I hide the plywood parts, I can see, bam, I have holes cut now. So yay, perfect. Now what we need to do is we need to create little tabs in all the back corners. Let me turn the plywood off. The back of all 4 of these corners, create little tabs that stick into the side panels to give our base some structure. To do that, I'm going to create a sketch right on the top surface. I'm going to come up here, I'm going to grab a rectangle tool, go down from the side a little bit, and then create a rectangle on the outside. I want the length to be 20, and then the top to be thickness. Enter. In fact, let's change this 20. I'm going to double click on the 20, and let's change it to 25. I think that's a good amount. All right, now I'm going to do D for dimensioning. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to dimension from this side of the rectangle to the bottom line here, and then come over to the side and click one more time. Type in 10 and hit enter. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm going to grab a rectangle, drag it out and down, change the length to 25, and the thickness to TH, enter, and enter. D for dimensioning. Click on this side, the bottom side, come over here and put it as 10. Now I'm going to come down to this bottom side and do the same thing over again. So I'm going to put all 4 in here, one swoop. So right here, this should be 25 tab, TH, enter, enter, whoops, enter, enter, okay. It wasn't wanting to enter. And then D for dimensioning, this bottom line this time to this bottom line, and then that's going to be 10. All right, one more. I'm going to click down here, and this becomes 25, tab, TH, enter, and one more enter. And then D for dimensioning, bottom line, bottom edge of the robot, 10, enter. Perfect. Now I need to extrude these. I'm going to hit E for extrude, and I'm just going to click on all 4 of these shapes. I'm going to hit the home so I can see what's going on. And I'm just going to type here. I lost my little number thing. It's up here, but if I couldn't find it, I could just click right here in distance and type in TH, enter. And you can see what it's doing. It's actually extruding up instead of down. I want to extrude this down. So I'm going to come back over here, go in front of thickness, and I'm going to put a negative sign in front of it, and then it's going to go down instead. I want to make sure it says join here because I don't want 4 individual tabs. I want them joined as one piece, and then I'm going to click OK. All right, let's turn our plywood back on, take a look at what we have. So now we have these tabs going into the plywood, but again, if I turn the base off, I don't have holes for them to go in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to need to cut each of these 2 inside panels using the base as the tool. Turn the base back on. I'm going to do a combine cut. I'm going to cut this inside panel, and my tool, now I can't cut 2 things at once, so I can't grab 2 target bodies. I can only do 1 target body at a time. So I'll have to do this panel and then do this panel separately. And then I'm going to come over here, make sure it says cut, make sure my tool is the base, and you can see now what it's cutting. It's going to cut this hole in right here and right back here. I'm going to say keep tools, and then I'm going to say OK. Now I'm going to flip it around so we can see what's going on the other side. And I'm going to now do the same thing. Combine. I'm going to target this shape to be cut. My tool body is going to be the base. I'm going to make sure it says, oh, now we can see those little holes it's going to cut in there and there. I'm going to make sure keep tools is checked. I'm going to click OK. And now if I hide the base, you can definitely see we have those holes built in. Awesome. Turn the base back on. Turn my 3D printed parts back on. Head up here. Let's look in here just to make sure I don't have any issues with overlap. Yeah, so you can see how the plywood is just going to just clear the plastic. So then we're good here. That 5 millimeters was enough there in the corner. I just wanted to make sure. All right, my friends, that is the base. It is fully modeled and ready to rock and roll. Great job so far. Keep it up, and we'll see you in the next video.